All right, welcome to another episode of Usapang Musiko, and we're back. And for today's episode, I wanted to talk about the accessibility of music for everyone. Is it really, accessible for everyone, or is it somewhat accessible, or do we need to make changes in the way things are in order for it to really be considered accessible for everyone? Okay, so I'm coming in the perspective of someone who has been here and privileged enough to actually pursue a career and earn a living through music. No, not a lot of people can say that they can do that, and I think it's really a privilege to be able to enjoy the passion that you have, and at the same time earn a living through it, because not a lot of people can monetize or pursue their passions because of certain things outside of their control. And we've seen a lot of people who have been through that, and we have also seen some people who pursued and really gained their fair share of success because they pushed through with uh the craft or whatever passion they want to. But it's really not that common to see, to be honest. No. So yeah. Well, if we want to talk about consuming music, no, I think we are at the time wherein music is pretty much accessible by everyone. No, you can access it on your phone. You could listen to your favorite artist, sometimes even for free. And with just one click, no, you can listen to a ton of things. No, not unlike before where you have to buy a certain copy of a certain, whether that's pirated or not or whatever. No, you still had to buy it in order for you to really enjoy it. But right now, in the in just one click, you could listen to your favorite songs, diba? So that part, no, the consuming part is pretty accessible when we talk about that. But what if you want it to be a career? Is it really at the grasp of your hands? No, um, having to build a career out of music if you don't have the funds. No, what's gonna hold you back? No, is it the talent? Because we see a lot of talented people who are coming up, but sometimes they don't get the success that they want and the success that they need in order to really pursue music as their career. No, there's a lot of bands out there trying to claw up the ladder, and it's really hard to break or even step into the door of that opportunity with a lot of music being played, a lot of content, you know, uh, passing through every day. There's like a million songs coming out, uh, not just in our country, but in other countries as well. No? And the competition is really just get uh, tougher and tougher, especially for those people who want to create and share their own music. No? And even for people like me who play instruments for large ensembles. No, it's not like if you're the best, you already have a job or guaranteed spot somewhere. No, you still have to prove yourself every single day. No, so it's not really music. If you want to take it as a career, is not that hard, because the things that are the career itself, no, the way you need to practice, the way you need to perform, because you've already been doing it, especially if you have a degree in music. No, basically you're just going to keep on doing the same things, practice, prepare auditions, prepare for performances. It's still the same cycle. But the other side of it, getting opportunity to work, uh, getting into uh, certain, let's say, orchestras or groups. That's the hard part, eh? Because again, there are other people that could be at the same stage as you are, trying to look for something. And of course, to be honest, here in the Philippines, there's like almost only two, three, or four like groups that could really be sustaining this type of industry, to be sustained in this industry, or something like that. So it's really not that accessible for people who don't have the privilege of being able to, uh, meet the connections that they need to, no, be able to talk to the right people, join the right community, because some of these things require a certain amount of capital, whether that's money, whether that's time, whether that's effort. I mean, in every job naman talaga, you need to invest into something. But what if you're a young kid who really wants to pursue this, no? But it's really one of the most underrated career paths. Not a lot of people would talk about this. When I was younger, in school, you used to have this like career talks, or like parents of your classmates would talk about their work. I never experienced having a musician come into my school and talk about what they do for a living. But at an early age, I have already envisioned myself to be doing that. So I don't really have any idea aside from playing and teaching. That's the only thing I know. But how could I present myself, 'di ba, to other people? How could I market myself? That wasn't even taught in college during my time. I don't know right now, no, because the curriculum has changed and all. But we were taught to perform, we were taught to teach, and that's it, basically. No? Everything else that you need in order for you to succeed was not really taught in school. And as I'm saying this, I'm coming from a place of support and privilege, that I was privileged enough that at a young age, I was given the chance to pursue what I wanted. No, my parents were very, very supportive of me. They tried to get me the best chance at becoming a better version of myself when it comes to music. No, but not a lot of people can say that. No, some parents even don't understand how much work and effort a person needs in order for them to progress in this type of endeavor. So it's quite sad. Yeah, accessibility. Consuming it is really easy. But being able to create or recreate it, you need a certain sense of privilege. Whether that's buying an instrument, maintaining an instrument, lessons. Even if you get free lessons, right? There's a lot of people. I personally offer that for a certain group here in our area. But you know there's a lot more things that people would rather do than invest in themselves and learn music. So it's kind of sad to be talking about it like this, no? It's just how things are right now, the current situation of things, that people still don't see the value that we could give. Like during the pandemic, a lot of musicians lost their job when the borders closed, when everything stopped. We were the first ones. No, I hear so many horror stories from my colleagues that like events stopped. They didn't have money to buy food. Oh, they didn't have any other resources. So what they did, some of them sold their gear, sold their, selling an instrument is a really, really painful way to part ways with your instrument. Because it's your sense of worth. It's the way you create income. Diba? It's your livelihood. You sold off your livelihood because it became worthless. And then when uh everything was opening up, we were the last ones to come back in. We were the first ones to go out, and we were the last ones to come back in. So just think about that. Whatever happened in between, diba? So it really shows you that you still need to work other jobs, maybe, to just sustain your livelihood as a musician, because it's not that stable. So the stability that comes with it, no, makes it less accessible to a lot of people to really, follow their passions. It was really an eye opener for a lot of musicians, no, what happened during the pandemic. And right now, events are opening up and all, and things are, uh, restrictions are easing up, events are coming back. But the scar that left a lot of our musician friends, no, it's really a hard thing to accept that we are still at this age and time sort of neglected, no. That's just quite sad. But yeah, when we talk about gaining access, no, as a young kid or someone starting out, not a lot of people, even lessons are really, it's expensive, yes. If you think about it, the value it's quite high, but you have to understand that you're not paying for just the time that you are getting, but you're also paying for knowledge. Those things also play an important role, no. It's not just you're paying for the teacher's time or an hour. So yeah, it really comes from a space of privilege to be able to, get the proper lessons, to get the good instrument. Because again, if you don't have a good instrument, for example, and you started out, you're already at a disadvantage with other people who already have at least a decent instrument. Diba? If you don't have proper guidance, of course, you're already at a major disadvantage. So, to be able to access things, you have to have certain things as well. And that's what I'm trying to point out. No? We can't really say that music is for everyone if the opportunities are here, but it still lacks something. But then again, I've been teaching, uh, less fortunate students, but you can also see that they are really not interested, no. So I guess it's also with the person. So there's a lot of points of view that you can look at it, like so, no. You don't They don't want it as much, they don't want it as bad as you would. So maybe that also plays a vital role in their own improvement, because if people really don't care as much as a teacher, for example, of course, whatever privilege you might give them will just be uh, put to waste. So I think we can't really blame one or the other, but it's just how it is right now, that you need certain things already if you're starting out, no. And talent can only bring you so much. If you don't have proper connections, if you don't know the right people, you might be super talented but still not make enough to make ends meet, no? So we have a lot of talented musicians here in the country, and they're not given the chance, no, because again, they're in a little bit of a disadvantage. Like, there's a lot of people studying the violin, to be honest. I think I believe it's like maybe, let's say, one top two or three of the instruments that young kids want to start learning. But as you can see, there's not a lot of this big training that happens because maintenance costs are high, teachers' upkeep are high. So the way to get into something, it's always here. No, they always go to Manila to get the best training to get it. So we could see, if you're from the province and you have to travel to Manila, gas prices are so high, you know, and the commute is not great. You have to eat, you have to, prepare yourself physically, mentally to just get the training because you lived in the province where there's a lack of opportunities. No? So what can you do? I also experienced this. No, uh, when I was starting out, I had lessons here in the province, but when I was already getting better at the craft, I needed better training, so I would go to Manila. I think I started going to Manila when I was like 9 or 10, so I had all my training in Manila. So you have to go to different city. It would always take up the whole. I remember Saturdays was like my lesson days, so I would go to Manila to get my lessons. Yeah, I was really blessed, and because I was supported by my parents. They really showed their support. But what if you're not really supported by your parents? But what if your parents don't understand how much it means to you? That's the hard part about it. Plus, after graduation, you're not really going to be earning as much as you have spent. So that's one more thing why it's so inaccessible. Accessibility is an issue. It's because you spend more than you make, to be honest. No? Gigs. Gigs pay your time. But gigs don't pay your skills, to be honest. No. You're only paid by the service that you render. You're not paid for your gear that you bought. You're not paid for the food and the transportation. And if you really look at it that way, no, you look at it, mas malaki pa yung ginastos mo kaysa sa kinita mo. You spend more than what you earn, di ba? So it's really not something you should just go at. No, I'm not trying to discourage musicians to pursue their passions, but it's just the reality of it. That it's not always just you just play because you're doing what you love. It's a good feeling to be playing in front of people, in front of audiences. Yes, that's the most fulfilling part about it is you being able to share your talent, your expertise to people. But the other side of it, your preparations, the amount of time and money and effort that you spend, you can't really be bought. No, you can't really put a value on it. And the hard part about it is that music is always fleeting. Even if you recorded something, it's not as good as what the first time you hear it, right? So the value is always fleeting, and you can't really put a price tag on that. And the same with all art, because art is pretty much subjective. You get paid what other people think your worth is. You're not gonna get paid because you want this. You can demand, yes, but you have to be at a certain point in order for your demands to be met. Diba? So it's a hard balancing act. You know, there's a lot more sacrifices to be done. Yes, it's a fulfilling job. I don't even consider it as a job. It's a fulfilling passion to be able to share and get get paid, be able to do what you love and get paid for it is a really nice way of earning a living. But there's so much. uh I don't know what do you call it. Not really red flag, but there's so much that is also happening around that you have to also understand, no? Because if you just go at it and think like this is a dream job for me, no, without really understanding what goes behind the curtains, what happens, how were they able to come to this point in their careers, how did these people manage to go from here to there, no? There's a lot of connections to be made, there's a lot of money to be spent, there's a lot of time and effort, but at the end of the day, if you enjoy what you do it, right? So again, I'm coming from uh, a perspective of someone who I didn't had the hard time as much as some people would have, because I was supported with my endeavors. I was given. I don't want to say I was like treated like it's, I know, because I also was working to achieve my goals. I mean, I was working at a really young age as well for me to, at least not become a burden to my parents for buying like strings and all that stuff. I was buying my strings, buying my rosin, buying my bows or something like that. But yeah, I was privileged enough that they paid for my lessons. They were able to support me, bring me and fetch me from my lessons. If I have performances, they would take me to my performances. If I need to watch a concert, they would take me to a concert. And not a lot of kids have experienced that. And I'm really thankful for that, for my parents and for everyone who supported me, my teachers, my colleagues, my friends. No? And that's why I'm able to do these things. No, I'm able to teach, I'm able to play, I'm able to perform, I'm able to talk to you about these things because I've experienced a lot of these things personally. And yeah, everyone has their own experiences. So again, going back, that is music for everyone. Yes, it is, and it should be all the time because it's there. Everyone can play any instrument that they like, but in order for you to create a career out of it, you need to make a ton of sacrifices, and you need a lot more than just a willingness to work, a lot more than money. It's not just about money. It's also about connections, building rapport with other musicians as well, and being able to, hold yourself accountable in whatever action you might take. I mean, that's how life works, but again, the industry or music in itself as a career is not as stable as you might think, especially if you're starting out, no? Slots for different job opportunities are a little bit small. And again, events come and go. No, there would be times that you don't have any events, so you have to find other ways, means of working. No? But if you can, it's a really fulfilling career and a really fulfilling passion to, you know, again, be paid and do what you love. Not a lot of people can say that. No, a lot of people hate their 9 to 5. A lot of people don't like working, or hate their coworkers or something like that. No, hate their bosses. You don't have any boss. You could, if you're a musician, if you're a freelancer, you don't have any bosses, right? So you can do whatever you want. You control your time, when you wake up, when you sleep. But again, that freedom takes a lot of sacrifice from your end as well. So it's really what you want. Which one do you choose? And again, if you don't have the privilege, it's double. The hardships will be double. So yeah, just keep it in mind. Keep that in mind. For everyone, for young kids who want to start a music career. For people, even if this is your hobby, at least uh, you could really understand how people are doing or what they are doing in order for them to pursue whatever career they're at in music. So yeah, and I guess I'll end this episode there. Hopefully everyone's safe. It's been raining for quite a while, and hoping no flooding is happening right now. All right. So again, this has been Ryan Monakil. You can follow me on all my socials. Check out my blogs as well. Usapang Musiko blogs. Uh, if you haven't signed up yet for the beta of Jellynote Play, check it out as well. And my course on Udemy is still available. Check out my Spotify, Anchor, of course, for our podcast, and of course, YouTube. Sorry. All right, so this has been Ryan. Oh, okay. So this has been Ryan Monakil for Usapang Musiko, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.